Here's your wrestling news for May 1st, 2022. And your headlines for today include more WWE releases could be coming very soon. Vince McMahon refused to call up popular NXT 2.0 superstar before her release. Roman Reigns officially lays out the challenge to The Rock. WWE did not tell their creative team about the releases ahead of time. Main roster call-up and alignment with huge superstar was in the works for released superstar. Ryback sinks to new crass low with latest Twitter rant. Latest on potential partnership between AEW and STARDOM. Next Supershow date confirmed. Top Smackdown names confirmed to appear on tomorrow's Raw. When will Roman Reigns next defend his undisputed WWE Universal title? Vince McMahon has big plans for the Tribal Chief. Current champion in WWE is officially divorced as confirmed by his now ex-wife. Jess McKay lands new acting role after announcing hiatus from pro wrestling, and more. We are kicking off today with WWE, who this past Friday released a total 10 names from their NXT 2.0 roster, with Dakota Kai, Harland, and Malcolm Bivens among those who were let go. After months of no mass releases, it was expected that WWE were going to have another one of their budget cuts, but the next wave of firings may be sooner than you think. On the most recent Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer said that there are rumors of even more names who are expected to be cut. There's people in the company who think that the 10 names, that's not it. I've heard rumblings about more. Some of these, obviously, were blindsided because you could just watch the TV and see Dexter Lumis and Persia Pirotta. Meltzer didn't specify whether these future releases will come from NXT 2.0 like this week's firings, or the main roster, or perhaps from both sides. Whatever the case, WWE is seemingly far from done releasing talent to save money despite making record profits, and time will tell who still has a job this time next month. One of the biggest names to be cut this week was Dakota Kai, who leaves WWE as a two-time and one half of the inaugural NXT Women's Tag Team Champions. A veteran of NXT, many fans had waited to one day see the New Zealand wrestler compete on the main roster, and while that didn't happen, it wasn't due to her own in-ring work. On Wrestling Observer Radio, Meltzer spoke specifically about Kai and said that many higher-ups in WWE wanted her on the main roster and gave her a few tryouts during her years with the company. While many wanted her on Raw and SmackDown, Vince McMahon reportedly refused to have her on either show, and nobody was prepared to speak up against the chairman. Kai herself reportedly knew she was leaving and had already made it clear to WWE that she wasn't going to re-sign when her contract expired. Ultimately, WWE is Vince McMahon's company, and he can have whoever he wants on the main roster, but we wonder if the former NXT Women's Tag Team Champion would still be employed if she'd been given a chance by the boss. One name who has been given plenty of chances and has risen to the occasion is Roman Reigns, as the undisputed WWE Universal Champion continues to dominate over the entire company. For years, there's been rumblings of a match between the head of the table and his cousin The Rock, and this weekend, Reigns addressed those rumors at a WWE live event. Appearing in London, England, Reigns defeated Drew McIntyre in the show's main event, and after the match, cut a promo to the crowd where he encouraged them to get home safely. Reigns also spoke about his tenure as champion and the opponents he's defeated, and when one fan called out The Rock's name, Rock responded saying, "The Rock can get it too." Judging by the crowd reaction, fans are very much on board with the idea of Reigns versus Rock, but this all hinges on the Brahma Bull's busy Hollywood schedule. WWE are hopeful on The Rock being around for next year's WrestleMania, which will fittingly take place in Los Angeles, and whether this happens or not, the Tribal Chief has laid out the challenge. More news from this week's releases now, as 10 superstars were cut, with some prominent names being let go. Dakota Kai, Harland, Dexter Lumis, and Persia Pirotta had all appeared regularly on WWE TV before being cut, with Kai's last 3 matches all being title matches, and this has thrown a spanner in the works of the brand's creative team. On his show, Dave Meltzer said that creative must not have been told ahead of time about these cuts, as if they knew the releases were coming, then they wouldn't have booked these superstars as prominently as they had. With that said, it's been reported that some wrestlers had made it clear that they planned on leaving, with Kai telling those backstage that they were looking to leave the promotion. It appears that all this comes down to miscommunication behind the scenes, which is hardly uncommon in WWE, and while some very important people will have known about the cuts with plenty of time, no one told those writing NXT's storylines week to week. Malcolm Bivens had also received plenty of TV time shortly before his release, as he had served as the mouthpiece for Diamond Mine. Last year, Bivens had planned on leaving WWE and had only agreed to a short-term deal when offered the chance to work with the Diamond Mine, and there were big plans in store for the now former WWE superstar. According to a new report from Fightful, WWE's creative team had pitched Bivens to be the manager for Omos before the company went with MVP for the role, who betrayed Bobby Lashley in the process. Bivens wasn't WWE's only option though, as the report adds that LA Knight was also considered for the role, as he too has transitioned mostly into a managerial role in WWE. That didn't happen, though Knight has been building his Knight model management stable during dark segments before Raw and SmackDown, with Mansoor and Mace confirmed for the group so far. Like Dakota Kai, Bivens had made it clear in recent weeks that he wanted to leave WWE, but who knows what his future would have held for him had he been chosen to manage Omos. Since his release in 2016, Ryback Reeves has constantly bashed WWE, despite claiming to be all about moving on and forgiveness. The former WWE star has called Vince McMahon everything from a pimp to a criminal who is illegally suppressing his social media accounts, but now the big guy has sunk to a new low. Taking to Twitter once more, Ryback once again attacked the chairman and went after McMahon's mother, calling her a whore who Vince would watch get beaten as a child. It's an incredibly crass thing for the big guy to say, especially given that Vince's mother, Vicky Askew, a mother, grandmother, and great-grandmother, died earlier this year at the age of 101. In a follow-up tweet, Ryback made it clear he's looking forward to Vince's death, saying, "Your clock is ticking, old man," in a new low for the tasteless former Intercontinental Champion. Over to AEW next, as the promotion has confirmed the relationship with New Japan Pro Wrestling, with their Forbidden Door Supershow confirmed for later this year. We've previously reported that despite speculation, all-female Japanese promotion STARDOM won't have a presence at June's Forbidden Door event, but that doesn't mean that a crossover isn't possible. In the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer clarifies that while STARDOM won't be at Forbidden Door, that Bushiroad, who own both STARDOM and New Japan, have expressed great interest in a STARDOM AEW show without New Japan's involvement. The report adds that Bushiroad have even gone as far as to choose a date and are currently looking at booking AEW talent for a December 30th Super Show in Sumo Hall in Tokyo, Japan. The main issue for this would be the date, as understandably many women from AEW would rather spend New Year's with their families rather than over in Japan. At this time, these are early days for a STARDOM AEW Super Show, and neither side has spoken to the other about it yet, but an all-female event may be in the works for the end of this year. Over to Raw, as tomorrow's show will be the go-home episode of the Red Brand before WrestleMania Backlash, and WWE is doing all they can to get fans tuning in. It's been confirmed that undisputed WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns will be on the show, as will SmackDown Tag Team Champions the Usos. The Bloodline will be around to confront Raw Tag Team Champions RK Bro, who they will be facing at Backlash in six-man tag action, which will see RK Bro team with Drew McIntyre. With Reigns and the Usos coming to Raw, we reckon that McIntyre won't be far behind, as WWE pushes hard to get viewers on the final Raw before WrestleMania Backlash. Before last Friday's SmackDown, it seemed that Roman Reigns would be defending his undisputed WWE Universal title next against Drew McIntyre, and it appeared that this bout was going to happen at WrestleMania Backlash. However, during SmackDown, it was confirmed that Reigns will team with the Usos to face McIntyre and RK Bro, with neither his undisputed WWE Universal Championship nor the Raw or SmackDown tag titles on the line. This was a bizarre decision by WWE, especially as they'd already announced a title unification match, and fans will have to wait some time until they see the Tribal Chief put his title on the line. That's according to Dave Meltzer, who said on his show that WWE is saving Reigns' title bouts for bigger shows. More specifically, WWE is reportedly waiting for stadium events before the head of the table next defends his title, and Meltzer suggested that WWE may book the Reigns-McIntyre match for either Money in the Bank in Allegiant Stadium or Clash at the Castle in Principality Stadium in Cardiff, Wales. Reigns' title defenses are always a big deal and are only getting more significant as his tenure as champion continues, but don't expect the gold on the line until next month at the earliest. Now, in the summer of 2020, WWE star Riddle was accused of assaulting female indie wrestler Candy Cartwright, a claim he refused. In his rebuttal, Riddle claimed that he did have an affair with Cartwright, but it was entirely consensual, though this caused a rift between he and his wife Lisa. Last October, Lisa trashed her husband on social media, responding to a post from Riddle about enjoying his job by revealing that he's moved away from his family, and now their marriage is officially over. On Instagram this weekend, Lisa confirmed the news, saying it's been 1 month since the judge signed the paperwork and their divorce was finalized. Lisa added that she and their children, as the couple has 3 kids together, are enjoying their new lives without the original bro, calling it a new adventure. Divorce is never easy, and that's especially true when one side is both an international star and has faced serious accusations, and we hope both Riddle and his ex-wife Lisa are able to do what's best for their kids. And we're ending this week with the Inspiration, who have announced that they will be taking an indefinite hiatus from pro wrestling, with no sign of when, if ever, they'll be back in the ring. The only team to win both the WWE Women's and Impact Knockouts Tag Team titles, the Inspiration have done a lot in their wrestling careers, but now one half of the duo is heading to the silver screen. This weekend, it was announced that Jess McKay, formerly Billie Kay, will be featured on an upcoming film titled The Charisma Killers, which will also star Vernon Wells of Commando fame and Vanessa Angel from Weird Science. McKay is the latest wrestler to turn to acting, following in the footsteps of John Cena, The Rock, and Batista, and we'll have to see how the Australian wrestler fares in her new venture outside the ring. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.